You guys all set? Welcome, Coach Lodge. We'll take an opening statement, and then we'll take questions.
Yeah, to start, can you guys hear me okay? I don't know if this mic's even on, but we're going to act like it is. To start, what a cool experience. Number one, to coach my first game where I played, but to celebrate Charlie Ward. What an incredible career he had, obviously on the gridiron and on the court here. And for both of us to coach, our first time in Tallahassee at the collegiate level, I think was pretty special. To hang his jersey where it belongs in the rafters, to celebrate him, to celebrate FAMU and what they're going to build over there. I just thought it was a really cool experience for coaching my first game in this arena. From there, the game was probably as sloppy as I expected it. We're in preseason and there is a combined, I'm bad at math, but I think 47 turnovers between the two teams, which I'm sure Charlie would agree is way too many for him and way too many for us. But that's the beauty of preseason. We can go watch film and clean it up. I told our guys after the game, we had a few very specific goals coming off that Alabama loss that we wanted to see. We wanted to play an aggressive style of defense, which we did. By our tracking, we had 50 deflections, which is an absurd number. I question our coaches, whoever tracks that. I said, I'm going to watch the film and count for myself. But we turned them over 25 times, which led to some easy breakout points for us. And then across the board, I thought our defense was much improved. Obviously, a different level of opponent. That Alabama team is one of the best offensive teams in college basketball. But coming off that game, we were very focused on our defense, which was good to see us move in the right direction. Offensively, and I'm sure we'll get into it with some of the questions, we're going to be a really, really good offensive team. I think one of the best in the country, but we got a ways to go, and that's encouraging for our guys. We missed some wide open shots. We made some shots we probably shouldn't have made. Our ball movement was just okay, can get better, and I thought our pace was just okay, it can get better. But overall, I told the guys in the locker room, a win is something that you should always celebrate to some extent. The most encouraging part is we can get a lot better, and they should be excited to continue to improve individually and collectively as a team.
Any questions, please, Chris?
Were there stretches where you let them play bad in the sense of not calling a timeout if you want that film to go back to practice? Review.
Yeah, I wouldn't say let them play bad. Obviously, I don't want them to play bad. But there were, my whole coaching staff telling me to call a timeout, and I told them to go sit down because I wanted our guys to figure it out. And now, if we play certain games this year, I probably won't let some of those stretches go. But at this point in the season, we can't baby these guys. They have to learn and they have to grow. And they got to learn, like, the game's never over. In one of those stretches, I think we turned it over 4 straight times. Any coach with a brain would have called a timeout, and I didn't because I wanted to see, at some point, you got to figure it out. And, I don't know that we totally figured it out, but there's definitely some film that we can watch on our press break, and there's some film that we threw some lazy passes, and there's some film where we just made poor decisions, and that's part of being at this time of the year in the preseason. That those are areas we'll have to clean up.
I was going to ask about some of those passes. Did you see guys recognizing in real time that, okay, I can't get away with that, or not?
Yeah, it brought me back. Some of those plays were by some young guards. It brought me back to myself as a freshman. We had some spirited discussions, and I thought of Coach Hamilton and some of those. I'm getting on Cam Miles as a freshman guard, and he's going to be he is a really good player, and he's going to be a very, very good player for us. But it brought me back to me playing as a freshman. I thought I was pretty good too, and I was slinging that thing all over the place, and Ham would sit me down and sometimes yell at me, sometimes hug me. But that's part of playing young guards at this point in the season. He'll keep getting better. And it wasn't just Cam. We had multiple guys throwing the ball all over the place that we'll have to clean up if we're going to stick with those top-tier opponents.
With Cam in particular, just his adaptation to this level so quickly, did it surprise you a little bit, or did you kind of see this coming with what he showed at practice?
Yeah, no, we've been seeing this from Cam all summer and all preseason, and he has a fearlessness about him that I love, but also that can get him in trouble sometimes, and that's part of being a good player. And I think, you know, all of our guards, Rob has that same tenacity to him. He's just got 4 years of college, and he knows how to control himself. He knows how to make those reads. And even Martin, it wasn't his best performance tonight. He picked up 3 early ones in the first half, which he shouldn't have done, and he knows better. But all 3 of those lead guards, I trust, and I trust in big moments, and all 3 of them are going to help us win games.
Was Robert okay there at the end?
Yeah, he's just cramping. And this is back-to-back games now that Martin against Alabama and Rob against FAM tonight came down with cramps. And I told these guys, you got 2 out. And part of it, some is hydration, some is what they're eating. But part of it, we got to get in better shape. This is a style that none of these guys are used to playing in terms of how fast we want to play and the tenacity we want to play with our defense and the way we're going to run and jump and trap and fly around and scramble. You have to be in the best, absolute best shape of your life. And for those guys, they're still, they're absolute machines with the way they treat their body, but there's room to grow. And I think now my words are becoming action in games, and now they feel it. Like if your body's not ready, it will break down.
Were you able to take a moment at any point, reflect on being head coach here in that building, and then also just seeing the crowd that wanted to green, the garden goal? Were you able to take any of that in, or were you just focused on basketball?
Yes, some of it. You know, I try to focus on the game, but when the jump ball was happening, I took a second just to look around. I saw my family sitting up there, and my kids and my wife, and you know all their cousins and brothers and sisters, and I took about 30 seconds just to take it in, and then you got a job to do, and we went and did our job.
When you look at you talked about it earlier in the week, wanting to play this more frequently, more regularly. Do you hope that today could be the start of a period of FAMU FSU playing multiple times?
Yeah, 100%. I talked to Charlie before the game. I'm sure we'll continue to talk throughout the year, but this is something I would like to have on the schedule every year. Hopefully, eventually, we can get it on a regular season and maybe do it, you know, around a football or a homecoming weekend. So it's truly a sellout, and both student bodies can get behind it. Obviously, not having played this game 30 plus years and what happened the last time we played, a lot of people did not want this game to happen. And not for right or for wrong, they just thought it would never be played again. And I think it's very unique with, you know, myself in the spot I'm in, and obviously Charlie at FAM, for us to bring these 2 programs together. And honestly, this isn't us against FAM. This isn't me against Charlie. This is celebrating Tallahassee and how special this town is for basketball.
Charlie talked a little bit about continuing the rivalry, but hoping to bring it over to Boston Center. Actually, that's something you would do that for.
Yeah, I told him, because he's asked me that about 50 times. I told him we got to get this one under our belt, and then we'll figure out all the logistics moving forward. I'm not opposed to playing over there. Again, I'm a huge Charlie Ward fan. I think he's going to do great at FAM. I'm going to be cheering those guys on. And, you know, for whatever is best for our program and their program, I'm going to be behind.
There were some, like you mentioned, some moments with the ball movement where it's like, okay, that's what it's supposed to look like. How much are you seeing that more and more in practices and
Yeah, especially at practices, when we do controlled scrimmages, you know, for 10 minutes, half of a half, or 20 minutes, we're consistently on pace to put up 100 plus a game. Now, to do that, you have to make shots, and tonight, you know, I don't know what we ended up, 30 something from 3. 28 from 3. Even worse than I thought. We got to make shots at a higher clip, but the right plays lead to great shots. And if you consistently shoot great shots, those shots will go in at a higher percentage. Part of that is obviously we got to get in better shape. The speed of the game is hard to replicate in practice, but they're getting the hang of it. Our goal is to shoot 33 threes a night. I think it would be number 1 in Power 4 basketball from last year's stats. Tonight we shot 32 against Alabama. We shot 43. So anywhere in that 33 plus range. But it's not just about chucking threes. It's about creating the right ones that are catch and shoot, that hit your hands. The defense is behind and closeouts because you got a paint touch, because the defense had to rotate. Those are the type of threes we want to create. And generally speaking, unless my math is wrong, everywhere in basketball, those shots going at a super high rate. And so that's what we're going to continue to try to encourage our guys to do. And as they get the hang of it, those points are going to keep coming.
What percentage of the 3-point takes tonight you feel were created in that manner?
I would have to watch the film. I would say probably about half of them. We shot some really tough ones off the bounce, and some of them were late clock, so I'll give them some mercy on that. Some of them were just, we could have got something better, and that's my constant question to our guys offensively. I'll never tell them, hey, that's a terrible shot. I'll just ask them, can you get something better? And usually 9 times out of 10, they understand what I'm getting to is like, don't shoot that one, go create for someone else. And the more they get that and the more they want to create for each other, the more contagious it gets. And it doesn't matter who's shooting the shot. The ball will gravitate towards the best players. It's just, as whatever you want to call it. Steph Curry is going to end up with the ball. Like, our best players are going to end up with the ball when they need to. But throughout the course of the game, 80% of it should be you create advantages, right, by breaking down the defense. As they rotate, the ball is going to find someone wide open. And if they're not, the next pass is going to be wide open. And generating those looks, generally speaking, will go on at a very high clip.
Coach, 82% from the free throw line. What do you see from your guys in that aspect?
Yeah, we made more free throws tonight. Now, it was a huge point of emphasis. I think we missed 11 against Alabama, and we lost the game by 4. And I reminded them that every day. And I tell them, some of you guys have been to our practices, free throws will win you games and they'll lose you games. And we constantly put them in pressure situations in practice where if they miss them, they got to run. If they make them, they don't. To understand that there's a huge importance on making free throws, especially against good opponents, where it's going to come down to 1, 2, or 3 possession game. You have to make those free throws.
Any more questions for Coach? Coach, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Guys, let's make our plans for this week. We play next